Café and Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Today we talk with Jenn Drakes, coaching for young adults. She's joining us from Toronto, Canada. Jenn Drakes is a life strategist and accelerator, speaker, author of the book on Amazon, Aladdin Carpets. She is also the founder of the You Are Worth More Nurturing Center. So Jenn, why are we worth more than we think?
Because we tend to put worth from the perspective of only dollars and cents.
Aha.
And when we expand the concept of worth and wealth holistically to every aspect of ourselves, we get a completely different perspective. And what I do is change perspectives to change lives. And when we look at worth, our potential and possibilities of us become exponential when we put that holistic. So one of the things I do, I don't actually say mental health unless I'm in conversation with someone who sees it as mental health. I see it as mental wealth.
Aha.
And start to put in one of the biggest teachings in life that not everybody takes up to appreciate is the concept of debits and credits in the financial world. But now if we look at wealth holistically, and let's use let's continue along the mental aspect of ourselves. I look at what are you depositing and what are you withdrawing? How fulsome is your mental state? And rather than make people feel less than because they've had a mental withdrawal,
Right.
let's put them into a recovery state to figure out, because when you're in recovery, you're thinking process.
Right.
You're thinking, how do I get somewhere?
Right.
Right? You're not thinking I'm ill. Not when you're in a recovery state. So I think a lot of how we feel and perceive ourselves is based on the linguistic and the language that we use and the labels we use around the different states in life. And that can apply to whether you're thinking personally,
Right.
thinking business-wise. We just need to reframe where everything starts, and that's our mindset.
I couldn't agree more because it's back to what you see is what you get, right? And,
Exactly.
the way we're trying to make a deposit, the way we look or feel making that deposit already adds either or subtracts value to that deposit from the standpoint of whoever's behind the cashier desk, right?
Exactly. And that applies whether it's your mental state, your physical state, your spiritual state, even your emotional, right? How healthy, how wealthy, how enriched are you as an individual? And the other thing that I do in my practice is I don't separate the personal person from the business person.
No, we shouldn't do that. That's
Tom,
I
exactly.
agree. We are who we are.
Exactly. And if we start to embrace life from that perspective, we stop fragmenting ourselves into thinking that it's either this or either that. We start breaking ourselves into parts and fragmentations and labels, and we start to say, Tom, this is Jenn, and this is what I'm all about.
Well, I agree because we get, from a marketing standpoint, we hear so much about niche marketing, but we're not niche people. We're the same person across the niches.
Exactly. Right. What is it that, makes Jenn Drakes different from somebody else? Well, we're always different from somebody else.
We're all unique.
We're all unique and we're all magnificent. And really, I would argue we're all perfect.
Well, I think I am.
When
but
I say perfect,
some people don't want to hear that.
No, I think we're all perfect. I think because when you look at children were born perfect. They didn't have a lot of the crap we walk around with.
Right.
What we do is we hand them our crap.
Right.
And then it becomes where they break apart from the perfection that they were. So when I say perfect, I take us back to our original state. When we were running around as children, we didn't care about certain things until the people in our lives, whether it came from school, whether it came from home,
right.
whether it came from the environment, till people in our lives made us notice things we should never notice.
Push that into a niche.
Exactly. So I think we can get back, and that's where the You Are Worth More nurturing comes from, in my brand and in me,
Right.
is that to start to connect back with that worth, whatever it may be.
And it is. And I think that is the moment. I've gone through that several times myself. When we sit down, you may say, well, I'm strategizing about myself. Strategic planning for Tom Reaoch. I used to do strategic planning for the companies. I said, well, let's sit down and let's talk about this guy. Look in the mirror and see, what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And back to what you said of the different us's within ourselves.
Right.
Part of the challenge is that we want to pick that us or the me at that moment that we think may have more value or be worth more. But as you said, holistically, we have to put it all in a blender. We have to blend ourselves because we're seen as one thing. Then people can look inside. We can help people see us of the different aspects and facets that we have.
Absolutely. I always say I'm multifaceted. When I introduce myself, I say I'm a multifaceted person. It's always been hard for people to put me in boxes because I've been able, I'm a creative being, so I'm able to adapt and I'm able to lend different skill sets. So
we say that it's a number of boxes that fill the truck.
Exactly. So let me give you a concrete example of the discovery in my practice I found. When I asked people the question, if you had nothing to worry about, nothing, you don't have any issues at all, you don't have any financial motive, you have no issues, what would you do in life? What would you choose? I have had scientists tell me they would run a bird sanctuary.
See?
Okay, that is look at the gap.
And I think we're going to end on that. Want all of our audience to reflect on what they would answer. And then how could they find you to give you their answer?
You can find me at jenndrakes.com is my website. And my main platform is LinkedIn, also under Jenn Drakes. And you can even email me at jen@youareworthmore.co. jen@youareworthmore.co. So you can reach out and give me your answer. I'd love to hear from you.
Well, I'm going to do that. And I hope our listeners do as well. Okay, Jenn?
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you for being here. And for our listeners, it is Jenn Drakes. It's Jenn, the last name Drakes, Jenn Drakes. You'll find her on LinkedIn and JennDrakes.com, jenndrakes.com. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And again, for our listeners, it's Aladdin Carpets on Amazon. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at focusmi.com. Thanks for listening until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.